I agree. What happened? Clearly she didn't just show up and people were like, oh yeah, no, she looks like Beatrice, guess she's the witch. Like, she did something. She did something. What did she do? What did she do? I need answers, damn it. Yes, there's the painting. Hooray, we did it. We found it. Woohoo. Church bells. Yay. Uh-huh, there she is. What the fuck happened? Tell me right fucking now, I swear to God. Uh-huh. So this is the big recap where we see everyone before, you know, everyone wakes up the next morning and then, oh wait, some people are missing. What happened? Someone enlighten me, please. I hate this. I hate not knowing. Uh-huh. Go on. Tell me more. Yeah, that's great. Okay, I get it. The night's over. Now someone's gonna die. Turn the clock back. No, not forward. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Now see, you went forward. I need you to go back. You just crank it back. Crank that soldier boy and bring it back. The second day. But I still have questions on what happened the previous day. And I know you can fucking answer them. Tell me! Tell me! What is that sound that always fills my ears? Is it the sound of the rain? The sound of a waterfall? Could it be radio static? If not, I want it to be the sound of blood flowing through my body. I want it to be the sound of the blood circulating throughout me, telling me that I'm still alive. Kinzo.
Asa nanoka.
Light entering through a crack in the curtain was faint, but it at least told him that dawn had broken. Kinzo, still in the position he'd been in when he woke up, still sitting in a chair and looking up at the ceiling, felt the blood slowly travel throughout his body. Judging by the clock, it was early morning, 6 o'clock on the dot. No matter how tired he was, no matter how deeply he slept, he always woke up at exactly this time, as though he had measured it with an hourglass. He didn't think of this as something to boast about, but he told himself that, as long as he could still manage this, his health couldn't be that bad.
朝を迎えたと。どうやら最初の生贄は逃れたということら、ルーレットの目が幸運だったのか、我が努力の賜物なのか、区別のつかぬところが何とももどかしいが、それは言うまい。
Kinzo was struck by a faint desire to see beyond the study door. After all, he might find the traces of someone's vain struggle to break through the door. A sign that someone had tried to select him as one of the first 6 sacrifices.
人間とは人事を尽くして天命を待ちながら幸運を得られた時にはそれが単なる幸運ではなく己の技量によるものだったとうぬぼれたくもなる。
That was why he wanted to check whether there was a wretched mark on the door. The very desire was human. And that was why Kinzo did not check. He often rejected desires that came to him because he was human. By doing that, he could be immersed in a feeling of sufficiency, as though he himself had become a being that surpassed humans. He recognized human desires for what they were, and guarded against them. Things that a human would want to do, he resisted. This eccentricity and rebellious nature had surely given him a rare genius, making it possible for him to succeed in his exploits as he revived the Ushoromiya family in a single generation.
さて、ベアトリーチェ、お前が取った6つの駒は何なのか。そして次なる手はどう来るのか。
Who knows?
楽しませてもらうぞ。私の守りは完璧だ。前回のような無様はさらさぬぞ。
Oh. Does he retain memories of last time? Does... Oh. Interesting. Interesting. So somehow Kinzo knows? The servants woke early. They had to open the curtains, prepare breakfast, and complete various other tasks to welcome the guests to a new day. Goto was the most enthusiastic. Okay, so he didn't die this time around, gotcha. During the family conference, he'd been told to concentrate his efforts especially on cooking, and he'd been specially exempted from several tasks that servants normally must do. Goto, who was a show-off, seemed to be feeling particularly superior because of that. He let Genji and the rest prepare the rest of the mansion, and worked on making breakfast in the kitchen. Genji split the work with Shannon and Kanon. They carried out various tasks. Where's Kumasawa? Shannon headed to the dining hall and knocked. Last year, the family conference had continued into the early hours of the morning. It wouldn't have been odd if this year's conference had done the same. Considering the possibility that they were still having a discussion inside, she knocked. But there was no response, so she opened the door and said good morning. The room was cold, and the conference seemed to have ended a long time before. There was a tea set on the table from which they'd probably been drinking, arranged in a way that would make it easy to clean up. Cleaning up the tea was a servant's job. If the family members were extra generous and cleaned it up themselves, the servants would lose face. So it was a truly pleasant act of kindness for the family to do only this much. As she approached the table to clean it, she noticed something like a memo that had been left near the utensils and cups. Since it was right next to the tea set, Shannon picked it up and naturally thinking it was a memo for the servant doing the cleaning. Written there was not a request, nor was it thanks for preparing the tea. It was just a single word. Shannon looked at it blankly and read it aloud. Oh, is this what was on Rosa's letter? Did they finally whip out the letter? A small sound kept repeating over and over. Normally that sound would have been too trivial to be worth caring about. If only I could stop hearing it soon, I could go back to sleep right away, she thought vaguely. But no matter how much time passed, the sound did not end. It repeated over and over. Shut up. Who is it? Banging on the door this whole time. As soon as she realized that, she woke up. Someone was knocking. Then she noticed that it wasn't just a knock, but a voice as well.
Rosa-sama. Rosa-sama. Ohayou gozaimasu.
待って、今行きます。
It had been Genji's voice. Okay, so Rosa survived as well. So far, we know Goto survived, we know Shannon survived, we know Rosa survived. The other three were what? Rudolph, Kyrie, and Kraus. Let's see where we go with this. Looking at the clock, it wasn't even 7 o'clock yet. It was clearly too early to wake the guests. Did something happen that was bad enough to cause this? She felt her sleepiness increasingly fade thanks to the premonition of misfortune. Misfortune. Though Genji was a servant, Rosa had known him since her childhood days, so even though she was slightly defenseless in her pajamas, she opened the door a crack and answered.
Ohayou gozaimasu. 早朝から申し訳ございません。
何かあったの？
はい、実は礼拝堂に。
Okay. Were the bodies stored in the chapel now instead of the shutter, like in the storehouse like last time? I'm guessing for this episode, Rosa is going to take what was essentially Nazi's place in the first episode as like You know, the one that lasts the longest and is kind of like a guardian for the rest of them. Kind of like a leader for the rest of them, I guess. Genji whispered something into Rosa's ear. For a second, it seemed Rosa couldn't understand what she'd been told. After having it repeated several times, she realized that apparently something strange had happened. Rosa closed her door for a second, changed her clothes quickly, and followed Genji towards the mansion. Golden Slaughterer time? The chapel requires some explanation. It wasn't in the mansion, but in a grove behind it, a short walk's distance away. It had been built at the same time as the mansion. So though its walls had been repaired many times, making it look new from the outside, it was a very old building. Rosa dashed through the rain along with Genji. Just like the previous night, the rain was falling in earnest. Did Maria die? I don't want to believe Maria died. I feel like that would really... I mean, it's possible. Eventually the chapel came into sight from beyond a thin grove. Just looking at it from the outside, it seemed to be a place of dazzling beauty, where a pair of young lovers might want to get married, wink wink. However, Kinzo apparently viewed it as a very sacred place. So Rosa and her siblings had been given strict instructions to not approach it unnecessarily. Even though they were all grown up now, approaching the chapel for any reason would still make them feel guilty. And also afraid, as if their father might get angry and hit them in the face. The servant silhouettes could be seen in front of the chapel's entrance. Goda, Shannon, and Kanon, which meant that all the servants on the morning shift had gathered. A short while ago, Genji had spoken to Rosa, telling her what the situation was. However, without laying eyes on it directly, she definitely hadn't been able to understand. It's probably the same for all the servants gathered here as well. Without seeing it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have been able to understand what was going on. Who is it? Who were the victims? Okay, yep, there's our first magic circle. But see, here's the thing. I want to know who the victims are, and also I want my goddamn Golden Slaughterer playing. On the door at the entrance to the chapel was something very large, drawn with a creepy, stringy red paint that made one think of blood. Something like a creepy magic circle. Yes?
何よこれいつ書かれたの
The servants looked at each other. No, this is just that ambient music. God damn it. Goda was the first to open his mouth.
申し訳ございません。普段はここへは立ち入りませんもので、いつ書かれたのかはわかりません。
じゃあ最初に見つけたのは誰？
食堂へお茶の道具の片付けに行きましたら、礼拝堂と書かれたメモがあったもので。
Shannon held out the memo with a shaking hand.
誰の字？兄さんや姉さんの字ではないわね。それであなたはここへ来てこれを見つけたのね。
はい。
ローザ様、これを。
What else is there?
何？
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. For
Kanon pointed at a single line of English written below the creepy magic circle. Till it had been pointed out to her, she thought it was just another part of the magic circle. Is it for Rosa? And that's why she was the one called. There, the following words were written in English. Oh, for Maria. Happy Halloween for Maria. So Maria's still alive. Who's dead? Okay, so let's think about it. If we go off the assumption that the ones who died last time aren't going to die this time, which isn't necessarily true, there's still the possibility of Rudolph, Kyrie, or Kraus. Let's think about who we got left. That hasn't already been confirmed. We got Nazi, as much as I'd hate to see it. We got Ava, Hideyoshi, Jessica, George. More than likely not Maria, more than likely not Battler. But even that right there, with Jessica and George, and Ava, Hideyoshi, Nazi, that would be 5. Or Kumasawa. Kumasawa. That's another one we haven't seen yet. Kumasawa. So is that the 5 then? Are we looking at Nazi, Ava and Hideyoshi, George and Jessica, Kumasawa? Just thought. Like I said, it could overlap some of the people, like Rudolph Kyrie or, why do I keep forgetting Kraus? Kraus. Happy Halloween. Yesterday, only one person had said Happy Halloween to Maria. The key phrase matched. It was the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Open the fucking door.
マリアはあの子いとこたちと一緒に寝てるはずよね。確認した。
申し訳ごマリア様のお名前が書かれていたことまだ確認して至急。
何や。私はマリアの様子を見てきます。それからクラウス兄さんたちにも知らせて以後の対応の指示を受けて。
After saying that much, Rosa finally noticed that something was odd. Her own rank in this family conference was the lowest of the 4 siblings. So Kraus, Rudolph, and Ava are definitely dead. Okay. Whether or not their significant others are, that's irrelevant. If they came immediately to Rosa, then that would mean... Well, also, you'd assume Nazi would be dead too. Since she's like, you know, the woman of the house. Because, yeah, the servants went to her when Kraus died previously. So I'm guessing we're looking at Kraus, Nazi, Rudolph, Ava, for sure. Those 4 are I'm willing to guarantee it. And the fact that I haven't seen Kumasawa at all, and I'm very suspicious of that, since she is one of the servants. Like, she is a lazier one of the servants. She likes to put off her work and whatnot, but I still think, like, she'd be present already if she were there. Why had she been the only one called during an abnormal situation like this, when the other siblings hadn't been? Even if Maria's name had popped up.
はい、旦那様にご連絡申し上げようとしたのですが、お姿が見当たらず。
奥様もお部屋におられま
Or
せん。
Nazi.
シーツの様子からすると、昨べはベッドに戻られていないのかもしれません。
Rose felt something creepy crawling slowly up her back. Yeah?
礼拝堂の中。
いえ、まだです。確認しようとはしたのですが。
実は礼拝堂の鍵は特別で1本だけある鍵でしか開けられないのですが、その鍵が
Does Maria have it? And that's why it's Happy Halloween for Maria? She didn't want to get closer to the door with the creepy magic circle if she could. Rosa readied herself and approached, then tried pushing and pulling the knob. All she felt was the resistance of the sturdy lock.
入れる窓などがないか探してはみた。もし中を確認するのでしたらいかがいたしましょう。
そんな許可私に出せるわけがないわ。お父様の大切な礼拝堂なのよ。
At that time, the events of the previous day swirled around in the back of Rosa's mind. That's right. I met that witch in the rose garden. Didn't she hand Maria an envelope? Oh, and that had the key in it, didn't it? The envelope had the key. Yeah, there's no mistake, she did hand it over. When Maria tried to open it, the witch told her not to do it yet, and she surely said, the time to open that will come soon. Rosa was sure. There could be no mistake. The envelope Maria had received was the key. Okay. Okay. So we know Kraus, Nazi, Rudolph, and Ava. For sure. After dashing back to the guest house, Rosa approached the cousin's room while hiding her footsteps, softly opened the door and peered inside. From the inside, she could hear the healthy snores of typical young people. There were 4 children. Okay, so all the cousins are safe. And Maria was there, sleeping soundly. After breathing a sigh of relief, she entered the room with quiet footsteps. She was after Maria's handbag, which was resting on the sofa. She's gonna fucking reach into the handbag and immediately Maria's gonna wake up like, "What are you doing, mama?" Hee. Maria always liked carrying her treasures around with her. She was probably emulating how her mother always carried her makeup with her. Of course, she was just imitating her mother, so everything on the inside was junk. Except, in Maria's case, it was full of small, creepy occult items, notebooks describing things of that nature, and so on. Rosa had never been happy to see her daughter walking around with things like that, which weren't girlish at all. However, trying to force Maria to stop had resulted in a big fight, so she decided to let it be. There it is. A Western envelope with the crest of the gold eagle. When she took it out of the bag, she realized there was a heavy, vaguely cylindrical object inside. She could tell by its feel and weight. There was no doubt. This was a key. After turning around and checking that Maria was still sound asleep, Rosa tore the envelope and the contents spilled out into her palm. It was a key with an old and intricate design. Rosa gripped that key and dashed out. Battler seemed to have noticed that sound, but after grumbling and turning over to sleep, he started snoring again. My man. That dude could get fucking robbed and he would not know.
Genji-san,
It's like, oh, let's go. Alright, good night.
この鍵、ひょっとして礼拝堂の。
これをどこで？はい。これが礼拝堂の鍵です。
Rosa approached the creepy magic circle once again, put the key in the keyhole. Time? There was a strong resistance. Time? After it resisted for a short while, it stopped resisting with a clunk. It's time? Then squeaking with a noise that hurt one's ears, it slowly began to open. Time?
誰かいるの？
Her voice reverberated throughout the massive room. Of course there was no answer. Because everyone's dead. Time? The chapel had a high ceiling and the air was cold. And even on this rainy, unsettling day, it felt sacred for some reason. The servants timidly followed after Rosa. Time?
ローザ様、あれを。
Kana noticed it immediately and pointed. Time? Over there was the altar. Oh, and there's 6 chairs at the altar, isn't there? I pointed out earlier, I was like, that's not enough for this to be the dining hall, but there's 6 of them, aren't there? 3 chairs on each side of that table. In the place that would normally have a pastor preaching of God's love, there was a table that shouldn't have been there. At first, it looked like a dining table. There was actually gorgeous plates of utensils placed there, making it look like a child's birthday party or something. Upon closer inspection, the surrounding area had been decorated with pumpkins and black and orange ribbons. They were probably Halloween decorations. And there were people seated at the table. Yeah, it's time! 3 people on each side facing each other, seated in chairs. They could be recognized at a glance. Kraus and his wife, Ava and her husband, Rudolph and his wife. Okay. So the 3 couples. Gotcha. Say that only leaves the 2 that are close left in a relationship sense to be... what the fuck is his name? George. George and Shannon. God damn it. R.I.P. Nazi. Man, I feel bad. I like Nazi. I figured... Like, you know, obviously if this is something that's going to keep repeating, eventually she's going to, you know, be one of the first ones. So, unfortunately, no Nazi. But on the bright side, Ava's dead. So, I mean, hey. You know, gotta take our wins where we can get them. I won't have to listen to her fucking ramble on about stupid bullshit for the rest of this episode. God, Rudolph and Kyrie again, huh? Interesting. Interesting. Kraus, Rudolph, and Kyrie are repeats. Big think. I'm keeping that in mind. But if you wanted to be sure, you'd still have to go even closer and check. Because they seemed almost like dolls. Rosa and the rest had opened the door, entered all at once with the sound of many footsteps, and called out asking if anyone was there. And yet there had been no reaction. Even if Rosa and the rest had assumed they were being ignored, you'd still expect there to be some kind of reaction. There hadn't even been that. So at first it felt like someone had set down some dolls that greatly resembled those people. By now it wasn't just Rosa. Shannon and Kanon, and even Goda. They were all fighting frantically with the creepy emotion that grasped their hearts. Give me my fucking music. As she walked towards the altar, she called out again, but there was still no reaction. Yes, by now Rosa was sure of it. She was sure these weren't dolls, but the people themselves.
これは
They grew close enough to see clearly what lay on the table. It still looked like an adorable banquet, reminiscent of a child's birthday party. Plates piled up with sweets, cute pitchers with drinks, all kinds of pumpkin-shaped ornaments. They were all decorated in a Halloween style. And while this probably wasn't the time to be thinking it, Maria would surely have been delighted to see all this. That was the state of the table that they sat in front of, apparently asleep. Yes, asleep. They're all asleep. It was an eerie scene, as though a small, fun-looking Halloween party had been stopped in time.
兄さんたち寝てるの?
Sleeping? When she approached even closer to them, she realized that there were snacks scattered all over the floor. Candies, cookies, soda, and chocolates, all with heavily fantasy-themed packaging. They were all scattered across a carpet covered with blackberry and cranberry jam. Yup, jam. This isn't the music I wanted. Excuse me? Excuse me, I requested Golden Slaughterer. What is this shit? I swear to God, if there's not... Yeah, okay, we get it. Go to Shocked. If there's not a fucking drop to this song that makes me want to bop, I'm going to be so pissed. This fucking orchestral shit, fuck it. I want Golden Slaughterer back. Rosa and the rest finally realized what the situation was. It was a Halloween party. A banquet for those not of this world. Kraus, Nazi, Ava, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Kyrie were seated in chairs, apparently asleep, but all dead. How could you tell that they were dead, not simply sleeping? That was because they'd been vertically sliced. Oh, fuck. Huh, wasn't expecting that. Wow. Okay. Jesus, the first time it was just like you open the door and like their heads were exploded and whatnot. Vertically sliced open. I'm guessing like guts. Their guts are like spilled out. That's what I was thinking. I was like, how does she not notice they're not, dead already? If like the first time we found them in episode 1, it was because their, faces have been smashed in. It's like you would have noticed that immediately. But they've been gutted from top to bottom. Ooh. Okay. From their chests to their stomachs. Yep, so like from sternum to belly button, just... Okay. That is quite the sight to imagine. Fuck Kraus-sama. My girl Nazi just got gutted. I don't give a fuck about her husband. The 6 of them had sat down at a Halloween party before having their stomachs split open, killing them. Then the jam covering the floor must be what overflowed from their stomachs once they'd stuffed themselves completely, right? No. The contents of their stomachs had been scattered all over the floor. That wasn't all. Out of their stomachs, it was almost as though they'd poured out. As though snacks had overflowed from there. Oh my god. Oh. So they weren't gutted. They were stuffed until they literally burst. Oh. 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 Oh no. Oh. Oh, I don't like that. That's... God, for some reason, that's even worse to me than getting gutted. But... like, just that constant expansion until like it literally just tore and... rather than just stab and slice, it was fucking... they were stuffed and stuffed and stuffed until... Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Don't like this one. This one's really, ugh, I don't like it. Candies and cookies, soda and chocolates. Oh. had poured out, stained with blood, and had scattered across the floor. Ugh. What could have happened to cause this? I don't fucking know, dude. It's almost as though their stomachs were stuffed full to bursting with sweets. Yep, and it all poured out when their stomachs split open. Ah! I hate it, 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 I hate it. Rosa remembered a certain shocking meal, a turkey that had been served at her own birthday. When it had been cut open with a knife, out flowed one of her favorite foods. Ah, I love stuffing. But since she hadn't been told what was inside, the deep, deep red ketchup omelet rice. Oh, omelet rice, not stuffing. Fucking, no. Get American with it. Put some stuffing in that bitch, goddamn. Pour it out like bloody maggot. Ugh. Pulsing. Dripping. Slimy. Stop! Pulpy. Squelching. Yeah, okay, we get it. You know adjectives. Congratulations. That's not the sound I imagine when I read that. I just see, woo-wee! Like... That's a bit more accurate. The trauma of her youth was revived. Rosa felt a monster raging inside her stomach as the acid started to rise. Unable to hold back, she threw it all up on the floor. Honestly understandable. Her empty stomach had nothing but stomach acid. The scene in front of her was no fun Halloween party now, because she puked. Fucking lame ass. It's party foul. The three couples were enshrined right there, their stomachs vertically wrenched open. Wrenched open with a I don't know if that's actually supposed to be a word or an onomatopoeia, but I pronounce it as an onomatopoeia. Is a giga. So many snacks have been stuffed in there. Pulpy. Stop with the fucking adjectives. Squishy, yeah. Blood and guts and sweets were overflowing onto the floor. Bloodstained. Sticky. Sticky. Sloppy. Stop with the fucking adjectives, Rosa! Pulpy. Enough! Sweet snacks that made your fingers stick together. Gummy. Motherfucker. I fucking hate this. Gummy. But stained with entrails. God damn. Sloppy. Stop it. Pulpy. Quit with sloppy and pulpy. I get it. I get it. There's fucking guts on the floor. I get it. There's guts and candy and a whole bunch of bullshit. I get it. Fucking stop. What was that I stepped on just now? I didn't feel like candy or cookie or soda or chocolate. I'm scared. What did I step on? I can't even look at the bottom of my foot. What a gruesome Halloween party. From far away, it looked truly beautiful, fantastical, and fun. But from up close, it was horrible, disgusting, and yet somehow still beautiful. Rosa's wild thoughts tried as best they could to escape her throat with a loud voice that was neither a scream nor a roar. It was a roar. Truly. Guess me and Shannon and George are next. Coda, my guy. What do you think an ambulance is gonna do? Call the coroner. God, I really don't want to see Rosa in a position of leadership and all this shit. But like, is there any other adult? No. Any other like surviving family member, I should say. Like, the servants are still there, but outside of Kinzo, there's no other one. Okay. Yeah, it's just Rosa, the cousins, and the servants. And Kinzo. Interesting. If words so tied to reality hadn't come out of Gota's mouth, Rosa and the rest would probably have found themselves unable to escape that nightmarish party even now. But it wasn't because they thought the police might be able to do something. They didn't keep yelling about police. It felt as though another seat might be set up at this demon's party and given to them. Their own chests felt like they were expanding unpleasantly from the inside. Shut up. Rumbling. Quit with your fucking adjectives. Well, these are verbs, but still. Quit fucking showing off your vocabulary, Rosa. Rumbling, churning, and it was surely because candy was about to overflow from their stomach. Shut the fuck up. Rosa, once again tortured by a desire to vomit, threw her stomach acid up on the floor. And then she searched. Searched to see if there was any candy in it. Ew. Yeah, anyway. Rosa coughed violently again, forcefully spitting out the stomach acid that had been burning in her throat. She realized that by now, her whole body had been covered in a filthy sweat.
源氏さんとシャナンちゃん、お父様に連絡して指示を仰いでちょうだい。郷田さんはカノン君と一緒に行って警察に電話を。あと、南條先生に来てもらう。
Why even bring Dr. Nanjo here? It's a bit too late for medical care. That's what I was saying. Like, what the fuck good are doctors gonna do you now? The servants accepted their orders and dashed outside. After watching them leave, Rosa once again stared at her siblings, with whom she'd spent good times and bad, and their partners. Though there could be nothing more tragic than this scene, for some reason she was tempted to describe these fantastical deaths as beautiful.